Hi, everyone. Dr. Tim here with another Dr. Tim's Aquatics podcast. We're doing a question and answer. We'd love to have your questions. You can send them in via our social media at Dr. Tim's Aquatics, reptile questions at reptilesystems.com, saltwater, my ASF. Also, easiest way, info at drtimsaquatics.com. All right, so let's get started. First question. I recently purchased Dr. Tim's 500-gram ammonium chloride powder. The packaging didn't come with instructions. What are the dosage instructions or the instructions for making a solution for 4 drops per gallon? I see on the bottles that the concentration is, 40 milligrams per mil. Is that the same as the powder? Well, the powder is just ammonium chloride. So you've got to make the solution to whatever you want. So first thing you have to do, yes, we're starting off with a chemistry lesson, but it's an easy one. I hope it's an easy one. Anyways, so you need to know the formula weight for ammonium chloride, NH4Cl. You go to the periodic table. Everyone has one handy, right? Sure you do. You got a phone. Look up periodic table. Anyways, formula weight for nitrogen, and then you've got 4 hydrogens and then a chloride, and it equals 53.49. Okay? Now, we do everything on the nitrogen basis, so we're only interested in nitrogen. And why do we do that? Because if you dose 2 milligrams per liter of, or 2 parts per million, ammonia nitrogen, you're going to convert, that's going to convert to 2 milligrams per liter nitrite nitrogen, which is going to convert to 2 milligrams per liter nitrate nitrogen. So it's all the same. Excuse me. If you do it by the ion, which means, measure NH3 or NH4, and then convert that to nitrite, NO2 minus, and convert that to nitrate, NO3 minus, it's like it would be 2 milligrams of ammonia ion would give you about a reading of about 6.45 nitrite ion, which would then give you a reading of something like 14 point something nitrate. I have a table somewhere about this. But I mean, it's crazy. People would be freaking out. Plus, your test kits don't measure. The nitrite test kits usually top out around 3 or 4, and people are going to freak out. And that's an issue. It's just easier to do everything by the nitrate base, nitrogen base. So when you go back to that 53.49 and you're only interested in the amount of nitrogen N in there, nitrogen turns out that it's 14. And so the percentage is 26.14. So 1 gram of ammonium chloride is 26.17, I think I said 14, it's 17% nitrogen. So how do we use this? Well, we want 40 grams per liter because of nitrogen, because what we want is a concentration of 40 milligrams per mil. That's what the person said. That's what we dose, 40 milligrams per mil. You work backwards. 40 milligrams per mil equals 40 grams per liter of nitrogen. So if you take, with your calculator on your phone, and you take 40 divided by 0.2617, which is the percent nitrogen, you're going to end up with 152.8, or basically 153. So here's the solution. You want to add 153 grams of ammonium chloride to like 500 mils of water and then dissolve it and bring that up to 1 liter. You don't take a liter and add the 153. You take a smaller amount, 500 or 600 mils, add the 153 grams of ammonium chloride. If you were doing this super analytically, that ammonium chloride would be dried because it does a certain percentage of it. It's hydroscopic. It sucks water out of the air. So, anyways, we're getting off track. 153 grams, about 600 mils. Dissolve it. It'll dissolve fast. Bring it up to exactly 1 liter. Now you have a liter of an ammonia stock solution that contains 40 milligrams for every mil. All right. Let's get back to the fun part. But that's how you make the solution. That's the questions. We try to answer all the questions that we get, even the math ones. Next, after that, we need some coffee, right? I have a question about cycling a new 29-gallon aquarium that I've planted heavily with live plants. Kind of redundant. I've been watching your videos on using the one and only and then adding your ammonia. My question is, the tank you use in the video is bare without any plants. With an aquarium having lots of plants, does that change your instructions on cycling the tank? It does. If you're going to plant the tank first and then cycle, then instead of using our normal dosage of 4 drops per gallon, use 1 drop per gallon. High ammonia concentrations can damage the plants. I really recommend that you cycle the tank first and then plant. But if you insist on planting first and you still want to add ammonia, which, I mean, there could be a debate. If you've heavily planted and you're adding just a few fish but probably small fish, I'm not sure that you even need to add the ammonia. Add, the one and only nitrifying bacteria, but I could debate both sides of that equation of whether you even need to add ammonia, because what little ammonia the fish are going to excrete, the plants are going to probably take up. But anyways, if you want to fishless cycle it, that's fine, but 1 drop per gallon instead of the normal 4 drops per gallon. Is it true that the effectiveness and efficiency of porous ceramic biomedia is hindered by the biofilm produced by nitrifying bacteria? If so, what would you recommend as the ideal setup? Yes, we only speak the truth here. But I mean, just think about it. It makes common sense. Our aquariums use what I call passive filtration. Whatever media you have, you're putting it in there, and the water is not forced or pushed through it. The water just flows. And if that media is rock solid, the water's going to hit it and go around it, over it, under it, whatever. You have this tank. Here, let's draw a big tank sump system. We're looking at it vertically, and you put some media here. Well, the water's just going to go over it. So if you're going to use these types of ceramic porous media, you need to build a wall or put it somehow so that the water going through the sump, trickling down through the back of the filter, however it's working, the water has to go through the media. The less bypass, the better, because the water is going to take the path of least resistance. And then biofilm, well, we know that. I mean, you can feel it after a little while. It's got that snotty, slippery film. That's the biofilm. If it's got a kind of a reddish color, that's nitrifiers because of their iron and their cytoplasm. I won't go into the biochemistry on that, but that reddish color is nitrifying bacteria. So yes, and they clog it up. And now what happens? You got the biofilm. Well, everything is food for something else. So you got the biofilm, you've got the nitrifiers growing on the biofilm. Well, now you're going to attract microorganisms, not bacteria, but other types of things, and they're going to grow, and then they're going to be attracting heterotrophic bacteria, because the heterotrophic bacteria want to break down the organics the biofilm is, and the heterotrophs start to grow over and on top of that biofilm, clogging it up. And that's why these, heavily engineered systems where they tout all these incredible amounts of surface area. Well, if the surface area is clogged or the bacteria can't get into the surface area, it's worthless surface area. So your biomedia has to be something you can clean. Invariably, it's going to become dirty. You can take it and kind of rinse it off in clean water. That's fine. That helps. And then some people, I'll put it in a bag so I can get it out easy. And well, depends on the mesh of the bag. If you've got a really super fine mesh bag, that's going to clog up super fast. And again, the water's going to go around it. So think, be the water, be the water, be the ball. Anyways, be the water and think of the water. I'm taking the path of least resistance. How am I going to do that? I'm going to go over the bag, around. You got to make the water go through the biomedium. All right. The ideal filtration setup, I kind of described that. It's where the water has to go through. No escaping, no going around, has to go through. And then whatever you're using, make it so it's easily removable so that you can remove it and clean it. Just a quick rinse, to clean all this scum, the slime. The nitrifiers are going to be fine. They're tough. They're stuck on things. It's the heterotrophs and the accumulation of detritus that you're trying to clean off of everything. Okay, that's why biofilters and some trickle filters and moving bed filters, they work really well. Because the biofilm is kept very thin, the biomedia is kept very clean. Next, I have my substrate and plants and my betta in a 14-gallon tank. Can I add one and only to the tank while the fish is in it? I shall monitor the ammonia and doing water changes if it rises. And the answer is yes. One and only live nitrifying bacteria is completely non-toxic. It's just bacteria. You can add it when the fish are in the tank. You can add it at any time, and it will help. It's not going to hurt anybody. So you're good on that. Being able to add that at any time. It will work faster if you add it in the beginning and not wait for the ammonia and nitrite to increase. If your ammonia and nitrite are super high, above 5 each, then I recommend doing a water change, get that ammonia nitrite down to about 2 or so before adding the one and only live nitrifying bacteria. Things will just work faster. Okay. Next, I'm using Dr. Tim's ammonium chloride and bacteria to cycle my new 20-gallon tank using live sand and Carib Sea live rock. With sand and rock, I think I only got about 12-ish gallons of water. I lowered the salinity and raised the temperature as recommended. That's in a video that's on YouTube that I gave. It's a talk I gave at MACNA 2018-ish. It talks about the secrets of cycling fast if you're interested in that. Okay. I ended up with a bottle that treats 60 gallons of water. That's the 4-ounce. So I assume I would not want to empty the entire bottle into the tank. Dose ammonia chloride to raise ammonia to 5, but my Red Sea card only reads 2. Okay, so there's a couple of things here. Let's start from the end and go back. The person says that they're going to dose ammonia to raise, they're going to dose our ammonium chloride to raise it to 5. No. Don't try to fool yourself into thinking I'm going to keep on adding ammonia until I get to 5. 4 drops. That's it. 4 drops per gallon, no more. Okay? You're going to, we put that specifically on the directions. You're going to add way too much ammonia if you try to get that up to 5. Just 4 drops per gallon. That's the most. We recommend cycling at 2 parts per million or 2 milligrams per liter, which is right where his Red Sea kit reads. There's no reason to go to 5. I'm not sure where that number came. What we say is you don't want to go above 5. Once you start going above 5, you're going to start inhibiting the process. So, nope, 4 drops per gallon, done. Don't even continue to add the ammonia till you get a reading to 2. 4 drops per gallon. There's a calculation on the bottle label or on our website if you have a big tank of how many mils or ounces that is. Okay. Next, he said he has a 4 ounce bottle that treats 60, but he's only got about 12. I don't want to empty the entire bottle into the tank. Well, that's up to you. It's the more bacteria because it's a numbers game. So the more bacteria you add, the faster it's going to cycle. You don't have to add the whole thing. 4 ounce bottle. The cap is 5 mils. So we recommend at least 10 mils. But one thing you have to do is you have to shake the bottle really well. The nitrifying bacteria are going on a particle, so they settle quite rapidly. So if you just are careful and try to pour the bottle into the cap, you're going to get water and very little bacteria. Shake it, immediately pour it into the tank. I recommend adding the entire thing unless you've got another use for it, because this is bacteria. It's not wine. It doesn't age well. It doesn't get any better in the bottle. Okay. I think. Now, with live sand, um, depending on the age of your live sand and many other factors, live sand can add ammonia to the water. So, what I recommend, add your live sand, rockscape, get everything set up, get the filter running, run everything for 24 hours. A little more patience, you're almost there. Then measure the ammonia and the nitrite, because you could have ammonia already. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't want to get the ammonia too high. That sweet spot's around 2 or 3. So if you've already got ammonia, cut back on the number of drops that you're adding. But especially with live sand, you should measure, sorry, you should measure the ammonia before you add the ammonia drops. Right? Next question. I see 2 bottles for cycling salt water. Does it matter if I get the blue bottle or the purple bottle? So it's not really the bottle, it's the cap. Well, the blue cap is fresh water. You don't want that. There's a teal cap, kind of like right here on the chest, teal colored, or there is purple, the cap. So get the teal or the purple. They're the exact same thing. It's just a label, and you'll be fine using either one. Shake well before using. You have first defense on your fishless cycling card, but there's no mention how to use it on the card. Can you advise? All right, we'll have to look at that. First defense has 2 purposes for fishless cycling. One, it removes chlorine and chloramines from your tap water. So you're using tap water. It kind of makes no sense to use AquaCleanse or similar products that remove ammonia if you're going to do a fishless cycling, because we're going to add ammonia. And that's a lot of people want to add, ammonia removing chemicals to treat their water. Don't. Okay, just a simple dechlor like our first defense is fine. Let the bacteria take care of ammonia. There's no fish in the water. You're fine. So that's one. The second use of first defense is it has a lot of vitamins in it which help the fish fight stress, because the fish has been chased around, it's been netted, it's stressed before it gets into its forever home, as they say. So that helps the fish fight stress. So get rid of chlorine and chloramines, help fish fight stress. The dosage is 1 mil per gallon. You can't really overdose it, but there's no reason to add more. Okay. Next, I currently have a clownfish and a 120-gallon brand new setup, and I'm able to locate him in any sort of quarantine tank at the moment. My question is, can I add a safe level of Dr. Tim's ammonium chloride to start the cycling process? I've already tried 5 small shrimp feeding normal amounts, and it's been 4 weeks with no sign of ammonia. I used brand X XML bacteria, which I imagine is gone by now. So you didn't use Dr. Tim's. We still help everybody, even those that didn't. Well, So this person is basically doing a fishless cycling using shrimp, feeding normal amounts. I mean, there's lots of questions. How do you know the cycle hasn't been gone? There's no mention of, do you have any ammonia? Do you have any nitrite? Um, I do not recommend adding ammonium chloride with fish in the tank. The amount of ammonia we're adding, 2 milligrams per liter, is not acutely toxic. I mean, it's not going to kill your fish in 12 hours, but ammonia is a stressor. If you insist, I would add like 1 drop for 5 gallons, just a little bit of ammonia. Um, but you have a clownfish in a 120-gallon aquarium. That clownfish is not going to excrete enough ammonia for you to have a measurable amount. So this is the problem. You got one little fish, even if it was a tomato clown and a big fish, it's one little fish, and five small shrimp. You just don't have enough ammonia in here. But what's the end game? How many fish are you going to have? Why do you need more ammonia? So there's a lot of questions here. I'd want to know, well, how many fish are you going to have at the end? Is it just a few clownfish? Then you don't even add ammonia. You're good, ready to go. So, uh, and again, I caution adding ammonium chloride to any tank with fish. Can you do it? Yes. Recommended? No. Hold on a second. Okay. Next question. If I'm doing a fishless cycle and my salinity is 1.015, can I bring it up to 1.024 with one water change? Will that hurt the bacteria? You can bring it up. Do I recommend it? I'd do halfway. I'd bring it up to 1.02 and then wait 2 or 3 days and then bring it up to 1.024. But probably not going to have any problem doing it in one big jump. I just like to do things slowly and in steps, but in general, you should be fine. Next. Hello. I added a little less than half of a 4-ounce bottle of ammonia to my 72-gallon tank and added a full bottle of one and only live nitrifying bacteria. Only later, I realized there was a regime online to add ammonia slower. I'm new to the hobby and really want to add fish before Christmas. Would you recommend a water change right away? My ammonia levels are above the readable amounts. Yes, they would be. So this person, I'm doing the math as we're doing this, folks. 4-ounce bottle is 120. So they added 60 mils times 40 milligrams per mil. 60 times. So they added 2,400 milligrams of ammonia, got it, to their tank, right? 40 times 60 divided by 72. And even it's going to be even higher, but we'll do 72. So their ammonia is at 33.33 milligrams per liter. This tank may not be cycled by next Christmas. Well, that's a joke, but that's super high. Okay. And what that's even worse going to do is that's going to become a huge amount of nitrite, which inhibits the cycling process. So at this point, especially because this person's in a hurry, they need to do a big water change. Now, the nitrifying bacteria don't die. You haven't killed them. You just inhibited them, slowed them down. They're in the filters, in the substrate, in the filter pad. They're not in the water. So drain as much water as you can. Refill the tank. Take out any type of filter pads, because invariably refilling a tank, you're going to disturb the gravel. You're going to get those bacteria back into the water. We don't want them trapped in filter socks and in filter pads and then thrown away. You've already paid for the bacteria, so let's keep them in the tank. But drain as much as you can and then refill it and let it cycle for 12 hours, 24 hours, and then measure your ammonia again. You got to get that ammonia down to about 2. Might take 2 water changes, but at this point, your ammonia is so high that it's going to take forever to cycle. Okay. Um, Sorry, this person that's questions. Next question. I have started the fishless cycling of a new planted aquarium using aqua vitro seed. Another competitor product. Come on, folks. And would like to switch to Dr. Tim's approach. Would there be any disadvantage to starting the process with Dr. Tim's products and cycling schedule? Well, I'm assuming you're talking about using our bacteria. So, yes, you can put our bacteria in a tank that you've already added someone else's bacteria to. There shouldn't be a problem with that. Just don't have to drain anything. Don't have to Don't have to do anything. Just get the right bacteria, Dr. Tim's one and only live nitrifying bacteria, shake well, and pour, and then start adding ammonia per the instruction guide. If you're listening to this and you're interested in the cycling guide, you can go to our website, go to resources. That's drtimsaquatics.com. Go to resources, and under that, you can download a PDF of the cycling guide. Hi there. Totally my mistake, but I added Dr. Tim's to my new 60-gallon tank with live sand and dry rock. I forgot and did not realize about adding ammonia. Can you advise me how to proceed? The tank started Thanksgiving afternoon, and we're almost a week without ammonia. Okay. Number one thing, always good advice. Don't panic. All's good. Okay. The bacteria is still there. They haven't died. So now start adding the ammonia. That's all you really have to do. There's nothing, the bacteria are still there. They're patient. So start adding ammonia and start cycling away. Hello. I ordered a few of Dr. Tim's Aquatics one and only live nitrifying bacteria from a seller on Amazon and have used all 3 so far. All the bottles smelled bad, like the contents may have perished, and after adding the ammonia spiked, which seemed to indicate the bacteria were dead. These were newly set up quarantine, so there's no ammonia present, and after the cloudiness settled, everything was covered in white. Does it sound like the bottles arrived dead? So, folks, we only have a couple of authorized Amazon dealers. If you're on Amazon, we have no eBay dealers. Okay, we have no Walmart.com dealers. So if you're on there on the web looking for Dr. Tim's one and only live nitrifying bacteria, like the old adage goes, if the price is too good to be true, there's probably something wrong. And yeah, it's expensive, but you're getting real bacteria. You're not getting water. You're not getting the wrong bacteria. We've put a lot of time and effort into this, so it's a fair price to get you going when you consider everything. So I realize Amazon is here to stay. You should make sure it's an authorized dealer. But to get back, if it smells bad, not musty, it's got the product has a musty. Yeah, musty is a good way. But if it smells like hydrogen sulfide, if it's just, oh God, it's bad. And it should be date labeled. An ink, I don't have one near me that I can hold up. But inkjet label, if it's got some type of paper label, somebody has bought that and they've papered over it. It should have a seal in it. But this is the world we live in. People tend to do this stuff. So I'm sorry about that. We can't control everything. It just, what do we do? Yeah, we try. We try to help people, but you really got to buy from an authorized dealer. But in this case, especially because he said ammonia spiked. We didn't say he added ammonia, so it's coming because that's what happened. I mentioned this. If the bottle is bad, what's eventually going to happen or been contaminated is all that organic bacteria, the dead nitrifiers, are going to be broke down, mineralized by heterotrophs, and they mineralize it into ammonia. And then when you add it to your tank, you're going to have a high ammonia concentration. That's where the ammonia's come from. It was in the bottle. So bacteria probably dead, and it's a mess. So just be careful, please. Next, I ordered a 2-ounce bottle of ammonium chloride and an 8 and 2 ounce bottle of One and Only from BRS last week to start my fishless cycling. I dosed I'm fishless cycling on my 150-gallon aquarium. I dosed 8 mils of ammonia in both bottles of One and Only. All bottles were sealed. Ammonia wasn't reading, so I decided to test the product by adding 1 drop of ammonia to a 5 mil tube, ran the test, zero ammonia. I won't read what he said, but he's going to be mad if he wasted $80. What do I do to bad product? So first, as we talked about previously a couple of times, this ammonia, our ammonia is 40 grams per mil. You're adding 1 drop to 5 mils. That is a lot of ammonia. Normally it's 1 drop per liter to get you 2. So a liter, that's 5,000. We're doing math again. 5,000 mils divided by 5, that's 200 times the concentration. So 1 drop per liter equals 2 milligrams. 1 drop per liter equals 2 milligrams, because it's basically 4 drops per gallon, assuming there's 4 liters. I know it's not technically, but it's close. Okay. So 4 drops per gallon equals 4 liters. So 1 drop per liter equals 2 milligrams per liter. And you've added it at a 200 times concentration. So the concentration in that 5 mils is 400 milligrams per liter. Your test kit is not going to read it. It's not going to turn deep blue or green. It's just not going to read it. There is too much ammonia. There's too little of the reagents to make anything. So nothing happens, and you're getting a false negative. It isn't the fact that the ammonia is no good. It's the fact that your test kits can't measure at that high concentration. If you think the ammonia is bad, one way to test is take a hard surface. I don't have one here on my desk, but take a black hard piece of plastic, put a couple of drops on there. It will, come back in 10, 15, 30 minutes. It will dissolve. And there will be this white crystalline powder left over. That's your ammonium chloride. You can take pure water and put it right next to it, and nothing's going to happen. So, okay, I can't say that we're perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we do send you the ammonia at the right concentration. You can't measure it that way, folks. If you want to know if it's working, put, 4 drops in a liter, or 2 drops in a liter instead of 1. Get it 4 or 5. It'll be there, okay? It will work. Now, he didn't mention about nitrite or nitrate. He added an 8 and a 10 ounces of bacteria to less than 150 gallons, which is right on the dose. But these bacteria can work fast. If you've got fresh product, that's the whole purpose, is that it works. What about nitrite? Did you measure nitrite? 8 mils. Okay, so let's do the math. 4 drops. 8 mils divided by 0.05. That's 160 drops. Yeah, you only added 1 drop per gallon. So, that wasn't very much ammonia, because 1 drop is 0.05 mils. I did this right? 8 divided by 0.05 is 160. So you added 160 drops to a 160-gallon aquarium. You should have added 640 drops. So you only added, instead of 2 milligrams per liter, you only added zero point 0.5 milligrams per liter, but you added the right amount of bacteria. So it doesn't surprise me that your ammonia is low. You didn't add enough ammonia. Okay, it's all math. And that's why we give you the concentration. We don't hide anything. We don't hide what our bacteria are. I taught you earlier how to make the dosage. It's all there. So don't be upset. Just do the math, read the instructions, and like you said, contact us and we'll help you. But those are the math issues that you have, both why it's not reading in your aquarium because you only added zero point 0.5 and you added a lot of bacteria, and the bacteria work. And how we know they work is because you don't have any ammonia. You probably don't have any nitrite. And then you say, well, I measure a nitrate. But remember what I said earlier, that because we do everything in the nitrogen base, zero point 0.5 ammonia nitrogen equals 0.5 nitrite nitrogen equals 0.5 nitrate nitrogen, your test kits can't measure 0.5 nitrate. No test kit available on the market measures low levels of nitrate accurately. It just doesn't happen. So you're getting zero and you're thinking the bacteria don't work. No, your parameters are too low to be measured. That's the problem that's happening there. Okay. So we got that one, that one, that one. I've been cycling. Next question. Get off my rant here. I've been cycling a freshwater aquarium for my axolotls using Dr. Tim's nitrifying bacteria, Dr. Tim's ammonia, Dr. Tim's First Defense. Thank you very much. I'm in my third week and the ammonia cycled, had my nitrite spike, and I'm waiting for it to come down. I just realized that I've been using the reef safe version of First Defense. Is that okay for freshwater or should I start over? Do not start over. The reef safe version of First Defense works fine in freshwater. It's bacteria. It's not bacteria. It's chemicals, dechlor agents. It's we add a little bit more because of the salt. So you're fine. First Defense freshwater first will work in salt. First Defense reef will work in freshwater. Don't start over. Enjoy your axolotl and relax. Okay. And I'll give you a hint. Stay tuned. Pretty soon, we'll be introducing some new stuff for 2025, and you're going to want to be watching for that. Okay? Next, I'm starting to get just a little bit of brown diatoms on substrate, not so much on the live rock. I guess they don't favor the life rock, not live rock, life rock coating. Not sure what that is. From reading, seems I should increase lighting, add a cleanup crew. What should I do? Definitely a cleanup crew. Some snails and shrimp would be great to add right now, and then you'd be all set. Okay? The diatom phase is the diatom phase, the ugly phase. It'll pass. You'll get through it. Don't add chemicals. I don't know about increasing lighting. I just get the cleanup crew right now. I wouldn't worry about the lighting. Starting Dr. Tim's fishless cycling below my current parameters. How much longer for the tank to cycle? What should I do? Tank is 55 gallons with a 15-gallon sump with a reef mat protein skimmer turned on 2 weeks after I started. Heat is 82 degrees. Their ammonia is 0.09. Their nitrite is 0.019. Their nitrate is 7. Okay, so the issue here is I don't know how many times they've added ammonia. If they've added ammonia once, these are great numbers. If they've added ammonia twice, these are wonderful numbers. If they've added ammonia 3 times, these are perfect numbers. Okay. And nitrate at 7, but again, I don't know what kit they're using. Anyways, this tank is cycled 0.09. That's no ammonia. 0.01 nitrite. That's no nitrite. Okay. Test kits for a hobbyist can't measure those parameters. If you're going to quote those numbers, you have to be in a lab setting with controls and standards and stuff like that. But that's just my pet peeve about these test kits. They'll give you a number, what's the precision and the accuracy. Anyways, no ammonia, no nitrite, but we don't know how many times you've added ammonia. But I would say your tank is cycled as long as you've added ammonia at least twice. So add some fish and enjoy. Hi there. I got the blue waste away gel from BRS. That's the marine one. But I have a freshwater tank. I used it, not realize it was for marine, and now up to 30 days. Is it okay? Yes, the marine waste away will work fine in fresh water. You don't have to do anything. You're not in danger. The fish are not in danger. It's all good. All right, so that is not a problem. Um, also, sorry, I didn't read because I went to another page. Um, will the bacteria in waste away harm invertebrates like snails? I have puffers that need snails. No, the bacteria in waste away will not hurt anything. The bacteria in one and only will not hurt anything. So you're fine. It won't hurt the snails. Actually, it'll help loosen up and produce a slime, or break down the slime that the snails eat. That's what they're doing, crawling around in there, and they're eating things and keeping things clean. So no, great for the snails. Last question. Use Dr. Tim's one and only nitrifying bacteria on day 5 after scheduled addition of ammonia, noticed white specks of particles on my dark blue gravel. Is this normal on a brand new tank? Yeah, sometimes because we grow the bacteria, the one and only nitrifying bacteria, on a particle, and sometimes they can start sticking together for some reason. I mean, they are bacteria in a biofilm, so they stick together. And if you don't shake it hard enough and break those particles up, they stay that form, small bits. And then when you pour it in the tank, you can see those small bits on your gravel. Not harmful. That's the bacteria. Do not remove those at least for 45 days if they're, that gnawing at you and you don't like them. But nope, you are good. Everything is fine and there is going to be no problems. Okay. So that's it for this session of Dr. Tim's Aquatics podcast question and answer. We always like your questions. We'll be at the shows. Please come out or contact us on social media or send us your questions at info@drtimsaquatics.com. Always thank you for your support. We much appreciate it. And good fish keeping.